Amish, why don't you tell everyone on the camera your name of your podcast, and why you are at PodFest?
Amish Patel. My name is Amish Patel. The podcast is The Drip Podcast on YouTube, youtube.com/The Drip Podcast. And I'm here, like I said, to be part of the culture, be part of the community. I look at this as a spiritual event. Anytime you get all these people together, we are. This is a large and beautiful congregation here. We're here to meet, to see each other face to face, talk to each other, and get this connection in a good, wholesome way. I think, or like I said, these cult leaders, they'll take you. They'll take your life and they'll take your holes.
What is up, action takers? Welcome back to the After Hours Entrepreneur. I'm really excited to share this interview here with you today that was completed at PodFest. Super fun, point and shoot style. I just posted up at the bottom of a very busy place in the conference hall, and I just started interviewing some awesome people, and I think you're going to be thrilled to hear how these people are turning their passion into profit. Stay tuned, sit back, relax, make sure you subscribe if you haven't yet, and let's get into this episode of the After Hours Entrepreneur. Run the tape.
Amish Patel, what up?
How's it going, buddy?
I'm good.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, excited. I've been watching this guy on YouTube talking with CoffeeZilla. It's cool to actually get you into hizzy for shizzy, man.
Yeah, man. I'm all about the hizzy.
Yeah,
for shizzy.
No doubt. So, Amish, tell me, what brings you to PodFest this year?
Basically, we have this mega producer who's trying to put us all together, a bunch of crazy people that he wants to put together and get us all here in the culture, in the community, doing interviews, talking to each other, like helping each other build our channels and stuff like that. But yeah, basically, he, for months now, he's been like, you got to come to PodFest, biggest festival in the world, biggest podcasting festival in the world, biggest biggest podcast festival in the world. They got the Guinness records on that.
They do, yeah.
So I said, you know what? Yeah. Then I said, it is for me. I must go. It is my karmas.
That's dope. So what's the name of your show? What's the name of your podcast?
So we're called The Drip on YouTube. It's called The Drip. It's youtube.com/The Drip Podcast. That drip is like a drip of the source energy, really, that makes us all alive. And so we do a lot of spiritual topics. Right now I'm doing cult rehab, and then I'm doing like a lot of cult reviews where we look at a cult. I just put up some shorts this week where we look at some cults, but then we also have like ex-cult victims, and those stories are, can I swear? Fucked. Like, you got to watch the kind of psychotic shit that these cult leaders are doing. You wouldn't write it. Like, if you wrote it into a movie, people would be like, it's a lot.
Right.
Who's going to believe this? But there's guys like we've had 3 ex-Jehovah's Witnesses. We've had some Scientology people. We had a guy someone from this Hindu cult called this guy named Nityananda. Absolute psycho. And some of the like games they make these people do, it's
so you're talking
brilliant in a way.
Yeah.
Oddly inspiring, inappropriately inspiring. And I shouldn't be inspired so much, but I do want to show people the stories and what these people went through. So yeah, I was just looking at some clips of our last guest. It's messed up.
It's crazy what happens when you put a bunch of humans together, right? And do you find there's like common denominators amongst like what moves people, like psychological type of games? I mean, you don't have to go too deep into that, but I'm wondering if there's common denominators that you pick out.
Yeah, no, that's what we're trying to look for, is like, what is the cult leader's method? What's their game of like getting people in? That's what I try to get to the bottom of in cult rehab. It's like, what's the psychological hook that got you to give 9 years of your life to this guy? I like the 9 years. A lot of people are born into it, so you can't do much there. But with, I can tell you with Jehovah's Witnesses, and everyone does this. I don't want to single any, it happens in every religion. Even Hindus do this. But a lot of what they do is they just show you some like ripper, like some like fire and brimstone's coming. You're going to go to hell. You're worshiping an idol. You're going to go to hell for sure. The way to save your life is you got to join the team. And that's the only way. And then maybe you can make it in. And I remember being a kid and we would have them come to the house, and I was pissed at my parents. I was like, you guys are fucking this up. We're going to go to, like, have you seen the Watchtower magazine?
I haven't, but it's this classic storytelling of, this is where you're going unless you listen to me as the hero. And this is the pathway to save you from destruction and bring you to. Yeah,
it is very hero's journey. I mean, they are trying to sell you this story of like, you're basically in this world of sin. You're lost. Everyone's trying to get you to, they did a lot of sexual repression stuff too. Sexual shame, sexual repression. So that's another thing that they play off of. But a lot of it is the fear of like, you're going to go to hell unless you join our team. Your life is going to be hell unless you join our team. And they do get a lot of vulnerable people. Just like scams that you were saying earlier that I started with CoffeeZilla, like We started off doing more scam reviews together.
Yeah, like Ponzi schemes. All kinds
Ponzi
of-
schemes, yeah. Same curriculum. So this is what I found out actually is like the cult leaders and the scam artists and just sales training. Have you done any sales training?
Sure.
Same curriculum. That's the
Wow.
crazy thing. Because you basically think about sales, right? Like you're taking someone down a journey of like changing their mind. So very similarly, like these guys are doing sales on like, okay, you're going to go to hell.
Yeah.
But if you go into a proper sales thing, what they do is they try to convince you that your life is hell right now. But if you if you buy my product, if you come over on board, if you join our thing, then our team will make your life into a heaven. You know what I mean? Like it's a similar hero's journey that they use. Shockingly, same curriculum. There's another cult that we'll be doing a more in-depth review, but I've reviewed him a bunch of times on the channel. Nexium, you probably heard of him, right? He was branding the girls.
I haven't, but that sounds
Keith Raniere.
terrific.
Keith Raniere, his name is. He's in jail for the rest of his life now, so we're safe. But he had like 6, just really hot girls from Smallville, obsessed,
Wow.
branded them
Wow.
right beside their.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
But it is interesting that you mentioned that, all these different platforms, whether they're positive or negative, buy this product, join my team, it's funny that psychologically we all follow these same patterns. And honestly, I think when it comes to podcasting and telling good stories, studying those patterns is important.
Yeah.
The hero's journey, you start following that, you can create these super fans that we all want, your 1,000 true fans, Kevin Kelly style.
Yeah.
But let me ask you a question, Amish. What's the actual goal of all this? Well, are you trying to turn this show into into cash, into income? Obviously, it takes a lot of work to run a show. How are you turning your passion into profit?
Well, we have a very real mission of creating almost like an anti-cult cult, where if you've been caught up in any of these things, you can come and talk to us. You can come on the show, tell us about your experiences, and then you have a place where you're getting the things that you got from this abusive cult, but you're getting it through the podcast because we're here. I talk to all my fans directly. Like when you sign up, like you can type in and I'll read the comments. You get to be part of my congregation, and I will speak to you directly. You have a leader. I was joking with a bunch of comics the other day that it's a great audience because they are looking for a leader. You know what I mean? And they most people are and won't admit it. They're at least kind and nice enough people to be like, yeah, I was really lonely and I needed a leader. So a lot of people are born into it. So their parents did that maybe. But a lot of people are like, yeah, I just went to this guy's cult for 9 years because I wanted meaning in my life and I wanted to feel something. And our culture here really doesn't allow expressions of spirituality. I don't know. Do you feel like that too? It's almost like I was doing a podcast the other day and I was just talking about I teach a loving kindness class, which is a meditation class. And when I bring it up, a lot of people are like, okay, well, I don't believe in all that. Okay, well, God's not real or something like that. And it's like, when we cut off this spiritual outlet, you're really just feeding these cult leaders.
When you look at mental health, where we're at as a country, I definitely believe that having some sort of structure that's proven, there's value in that. But like you said, wherever there's a gap, someone's going to fill that hole.
Right.
And you better be sure who's filling that hole. Not a glory hole, but a hole.
Be careful who fills your hole, people.
Be careful.
That goes across the board.
This is not medical advice, but yes, be careful. So, Amish, why don't you tell everyone on the camera your name of your podcast, and why you are at PodFest?
Amish Patel. My name is Amish Patel. The podcast is The Drip Podcast on YouTube, youtube.com/The Drip Podcast. And I'm here, like I said, to be part of the culture, be part of the community. I look at this as a spiritual event. Anytime you get all these people together, we are. This is a large and beautiful congregation here. We're here to see each other face to face, talk to each other, and get this connection in a good, wholesome way. I think, or like I said, these cult leaders, they'll take you. They'll take your life and they'll take your holes. They want
we ain't doing any of that here. This is all positive vibes.
It's all very
Amish,
positive.
rapid fire.
Tell me,
Favorite animal?
dog,
Favorite topping on pizza?
mushroom.
If you were on a plane flight, first class, of course, who would you want to sit next to?
Ooh, Jim Carrey.
Good one.
Great loving kindness teacher. He's beautiful. He's very powerful in his teachings.
Good one. Favorite scary movie?
Favorite scary movie.
Scariest scary movie, let's say.
Scariest?
Yeah, creeped you out, couldn't sleep.
You know, it's tough now because when I was younger, I was really scared of ghosts. But now, Exorcist was a classic. I loved it. Oh, Ouija board. Because when I was a kid, I had the Ouija board too. Have you played it?
I have not.
The movie's great.
Yeah.
I saw it when I was a kid, and it had all these soap opera stars in it.
Yeah.
Great movie. And
those things creep me out, though, you know?
They do. And my family has a weird story. It's like, this is a thing with ghosts is like, as a Hindu, we have all these ghost techniques. I feel like here people just freeze. What do you do if you think there's a ghost in the room? You just kind of go, it'll go away.
I've never really felt that, but I guess I would pray if I felt there was a ghost in the room. So I tell my kids, if you're scared at night, just pray.
Just
Jesus
pray.
loves you, you know?
Yeah, Jesus. Jesus is a great person to call on because they will get rid of these ghosts.
Yeah.
So that's why it's hard to be afraid of horror movies and ghosts now because I'm just like.
Yeah. You know, along those lines, though, Insidious kind of creeped the hell out of me, though.
Insidious
is pretty creepy.
I got to watch it.
Yeah. It's like going to this other world and being trapped there. And
amazing. Have you seen the movie Midsommar?
I know of it. I have not watched it.
That's a banger. It's on Netflix. It was on Netflix when I watched it. So good, and it is just a bunch of kids going to like what they thought was a friendly cult.
Yeah,
and then like it just gets It gets messy quick.
Goes right. Amish, last question: if you had 10 seconds with yourself 10 years ago, what do you say?
I say, baby, love yourself and go get it.
Amish, thank you, brother.
Thanks, man. Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Well, thanks for listening today. I hope you enjoyed this episode of the After Hours Entrepreneur. So many great people out there taking action, and I love sharing their stories with people just like you. And listen, if you're into podcasting, if you're trying to grow your podcast into something that can actually generate real revenue and real profit, let me help you. That's what I'm here to do. I've been working on this for over 5 years now, and I want to help you turn your podcast into profit. Click the link below and join the Podcast Mastermind community. It is very affordable, and it's designed to help you turn your podcast into money, into cash money. That's what we're going to help you do. So listen, click the link below. Let's connect. Thanks for listening to After Hours Entrepreneur today. And I'll catch you here next time. Go take action, all right? Peace.